Hey everyone, Ryan Eckert with Peak Endurance Solutions here. In today's video, we're going to be going over the YMCA drill. And this one's kind of a fun one. I like this one. It's pretty simple to do, but it gives you a really good feel for what it's like to have a high elbow catch in the water. And so what this drill is working on is that propulsive phase of your stroke. So it's it's walking you through basically your catch setup and your pull, and walking you through different phases of that catch to the catch setup and through to the pull, and then all the way to the follow through. So it kind of walks you through in a series of steps the different aspects of, or the different parts of the catch and the pull, and it lets you really feel what's going on. And when I play this video, you'll see what it looks like, but you also see that when she moves from the catch position, which is the hand entry or the hands out in front of her shoulders, and she moves into the catch setup, and then she starts to move into the pull phase of the stroke, that she maintains a pretty high elbow throughout. And I'll go through and I'll point that out as the video plays. But that's really what you want to focus on here, is what it's like to hold a high elbow position when you initiate that pull part of your stroke. So when you're pushing water back, you want to be pushing water back with your fingertips pointed towards the bottom of the pool and your elbow up nice and high. And so I'll show you what that looks like now. So she goes into the catch setup all the way through to the follow through. And so where the YMCA aspect comes in is when I play this really slow. So the Y part, and I'm going to show you this from the side as well as from front on, but the Y part of the stroke is right here. So with the hands out in front of the shoulders where they would be if they were entering the water. So ideally we want to be entering in freestyle, we want the hands to be entering just in front of the shoulder, maybe just a little to the outside of the shoulder, maybe just a touch to the inside of the shoulder, but we don't want to be going out really, really wide, or we don't want to be crossing over or going in front of our head when we enter with the hands in the water. So this is also good to just practice that position of hands out in front of the shoulders, maybe just a little bit wider than the shoulders in the Y position. The M position is that I like to call it the catch setup. It's that first part of the stroke where you're kind of setting up your catch and your pull, and then from the catch you'll go into the pull. So it's after your hands have entered the water. It's that phase of the swim stroke where you're not necessarily pushing any water back, but you're setting up the catch, which is right here when you're grabbing a palm full of water. And then this then leads you into the pull, which is the next part. But the M part of the stroke is right here. So I'm going to pause it. Let me bring it back right here. So notice as she goes into the M part of the stroke, she starts to bend at the elbow. So she's rotating around the shoulder and bending at the elbow, but leaving this elbow up. Okay, so this is where we get into the high elbow catch position. So this is it right here, the high elbow catch. A lot of people have a tendency to go from this position. They just want to press their arms straight down, or they start to drop their elbow and their elbow's lower than their wrist. Whereas if you see right here, see how her elbow is higher than her wrist? So her elbow stays higher than her wrist. Some people have a tendency to really drop that elbow down below the wrist, and they're missing out on that really strong and powerful catch setup, which is what you want right here. And then moving into the C position, it's just as she starts to initiate the pull. So this is where the elbow stays up, fingertips are pointing straight down towards the bottom of the pool, and this gives you a really, really strong and powerful pull position from which she can just push water straight back and really get a lot out of that pull phase of the stroke. And then she goes into a complete follow through, which is the A position right here. And so this is another position that a lot of people miss out on. A lot of people will kind of shorten the follow through of their stroke, and they won't completely extend their arms all the way. So one thing that I like to tell people to do is think of flicking your thumbs off the side of your thigh. And then if you know that you got your thumb off the side of your thigh, then you know that you've straightened your arm all the way and you've followed through completely on that pull. And then she's going to go through this one more time. So the Y, M, C, A. She's just walking through it. And so I like to do this drill with fins and a snorkel. That way you don't have to worry about what's going on with your head to breathe. You can just breathe in and out of the snorkel. The fins are there mainly for slightly weaker kickers. just because you're not really going through a full swim stroke cycle here. There are tons of, or there's many parts of this drill where you're pretty static and you're not really creating any forward motion with your arms. And so the fins give you a little bit of added kicking power and kicking propulsion when you're doing this drill, just so it's easier to stay afloat. So I like to use the fins. If you're a really strong kicker, you don't have to use the fins, but it really doesn't matter if you use the fins or not, whatever makes it most comfortable so that you can focus on what's going on with your arms. And so I wanted to go ahead and also show you what this looks like head on. So she's got the YMCA, and we'll go back and I'll pause it again just so you can see. So again, notice in the Y position, hands are just out in front of the shoulders, maybe a touch wider. The M position, she keeps those elbows up, fingertips start to point down towards the bottom of the pool. And then in this C position, now look at that, so she's got a nice 90-degree bend at the elbow. Now there are some swim coaches who will try to get swimmers to opt for a little bit more of a angle at the elbow right here, with the forearm pointing a little bit more inward. And she could maybe be doing a slightly better job of that too. But for the purposes of this drill, all that really matters is that you're just keeping the elbow up nice and high, fingertips are pointing down towards the bottom of the pool, and you're really focusing on maintaining that high elbow position throughout. And then she moves into the A position at the very end, which is full follow through. And so notice that she's completely extending her arms and her fingertips are pointing back behind her towards the other end of the pool. And then obviously from here she would come and do her out of water recovery and then enter into the water again with her hand out in front. And then she kind of sneaks her way back up to the top from the Y, M, C, and then A all the way to the follow through. So that's the YMCA drill. I like to use this drill to really work on the propulsive phase of the stroke, and again, really honing in on what it feels like to have a high elbow catch position as you move from that catch position into the pull. And this really helps you set up a nice, strong, and powerful pull, so you can get a lot more out of each of your swim strokes. If you have any questions on this, just shoot me an email at peakenduranceSolutions@outlook.com.